We'll never know. Welcome to the Average Nobody's podcast number 88 from June 4th, 2020. I did it seamlessly. You couldn't even see me looking at my phone. We're back here. What are we watching? We'll get right into it. This is going to be the biggest chunk of the show, I think. We'll see. Adam, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. So I finished Dave, and if you guys remember correctly, I was on the fence about it at first. But,
Yes.
After the first handful of episodes, I'm glad I stuck with it because it turned out to be a good show.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I did like it. I wasn't like rolling over laughing, but I thought it was a good show with funny moments. And like when all the other characters started coming around, like Gata and the girlfriend and his producer, you really got to, and what's his face, his manager, like you got to see more of them. That's for me. That's when the show got better.
I feel like they let different people shine in different episodes and set, like, it was never like maybe more than one or two episodes about Dave. Like other characters got their chance to kind of do their thing, which for a show in their first season is, that's kind of tough to do. Like you want to get your footing. Did you like the Gata? What do you think about the Gata Bipolar episode? That's what I really wanted to know.
I thought that was a really good one. That was like a turning point for me because you got this, like, Gata was already my favorite character, and now like you see why he's nuts, and it was cool to see everybody rally around him.
For the Gata episode, I was really glad that the way they handled it was they gave you this like heart-wrenching background about how he is in his illness, right? And then instead of it becoming a problem, like a big problem, like in the present time, they kind of explain how he got there and how he's like just trying to connect back with his friends and trying to like get back with them. That's why I originally gave Dave his boy's number, the guy who was connected at the studio, and then they addressed it and they just moved on, kind of like promoting the message that like you're able to live with you're able to help yourself. This is something that's not going to bog you down. It's not going to make your friends hate you. Like Dave was like just moved on from it. Like they all just moved on from it. He said he was handling his shit. He explained that he wasn't on the right dosage of his medication, and then boom, it's over. I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was so good and so like heartwarming. And Gata's character is so good. Loved him.
Yeah, I agree. I've also been watching Riverdale, and I text Matt about this show when I watch it. And Ryan, this show is off the rails. Like, these kids have been in high school for 10 years now. And they don't even go to school. Like, one of them, it's a good show. Like, so I'm almost done with the fourth season, and Matt, it finally came around. You know what I mean? There was a whole lot of dicking around at the beginning of the season. But, like, it finally came around. Like, you got your big bad guys, and, the plan came around. But it's, like, this is a show that is really going to... So, season 5, they're going to do a time jump to, like, post-college life. Like, right now, they're seniors in high school. And this show is really going to... I think is going to benefit from that. Because right now, school is barely involved. Like, one of them is, like, running his dad's construction company. Another one owns a teenage dance club in the basement of a diner and has her own rum business. One is investigating murder cases with the FBI. Like, it's all over the map for high school.
It's involved.
It's so,
very involved.
So difficult to believe, and there are so many stretches. Like, but I'm hoping
Outer Banks.
Outer Banks now is similar.
Yeah, so I like, that's something I'm watching, so I'll get to it when I do, but it's the same thing. Like, while you're watching, you're like, when do they go to high school? Like,
right,
what's happening with these people's lives? Yeah, it's great. But that's
having sex in the music room. There's a lounge. What high school has a lounge where the students can hang out?
We did it in high school, though, didn't we?
Down in the basement.
Investigated for the FBI, yeah, in the weight room.
Yeah. Which season is it where Archie is a prize fighter in a fight club?
Oh, that's season 3. Okay. Archie, he gets, I can't remember what crime he gets.
Essentially prison.
He gets put in juvie, but like there's an underground teenage fight club that rich people in Riverdale come and they bet on the fighters. Like, it's out of control, the drama that happens in this show. But, it's one of my guilty pleasure shows, and I'm almost done with 4, and I'm looking forward towards 5 with the time jump.
I was going to say, it seems like you can't stop watching it.
No, I can't. That's the thing. I can't stop.
It gets you.
I've also so I finished actually season 4 of Rick and Morty. So fucking funny. The finale was hilarious. I'll just skip right over that. But I also watched 2 Netflix original movies. One was The Lovebirds with Kumail Nanjiani and Issa Rae. Very funny. And then the other one was called Coffee and Kareem with Ed Helms and Taraji P. Henderson. Also very funny. Both like basically the same movie, except one of them it's a couple with a crumbling relationship, and another one is it's set in Detroit. It's a white cop dating a black woman who has a 12, 13-year-old son who disapproves of the man that her mother's dating, and they both witness something bad and people are after them. It's like the same story, basically. But both of them were really, really entertaining. Hour and a half, easy, right through it. So that's what I've been watching. Actually, I got to get on my list. I've been dying to watch Westworld season 3 since it wrapped, and I haven't yet. So hopefully I've got some updates on that when I do it.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen season 2.
Dude, season 2 was awesome.
I can't.
So you thought it was awesome? It was, Ryan, I totally agree. It was too much. I was absolutely overwhelmed by it.
Well, simple minds.
Well,
maybe that's
I'm
it.
Smart.
That's fine. I'll take that.
Right.
So I've been watching a few things. I've been watching a lot of movies, actually. I was on a Kevin Smith kick for a little bit, and I watched Mallrats and Clerks 2. Both tremendous movies. And then you kind of look at those, and then you look at his newer stuff, and you kind of wonder, he's still trying to capture the magic of those first 3 he made: Clerks, Mallrats, Clerks. Well, not Clerks 2, but Chasing Amy. And they still work to a point, but I don't know. Maybe they're dated or whatever. But there's definitely a lot of shit in Mallrats that would not fly in 2020. Even close. Not even close. Not even close. So would not fly in 2020. But I just saw his, and I don't think either of you guys saw it, but the new movie, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is the sequel to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
How was that?
It was. I thought it was. So this is what I'm going to say about it. It was funny, and it was just gratuitous, fan service. That's all it was. It was Kevin Smith bringing in all of his movie star friends for cameos and things like that. Ben Affleck's in it, obviously, again, and all that shit. But
do you think he's not evolving as he should?
I don't know. I don't mind him not evolving, because if a director does something well, I hope that they absolutely grind that out. I mean, look at Scorsese. Scorsese pretty much revolves around the same cast of people, the same genre of movie. It's very little variation, and he does it great. But in this case, I don't know what it is, but they definitely feel dated, but they also feel like home. They feel comfortable. I can watch these movies, and I can laugh, and I'm not really invested in it. I'm not gonna get anything out of it. I actually did enjoy Tusk, which was the horror movie about the guy that gets turned into a walrus. Fucking wild shit. It was fucking wild shit. They had Johnny Depp was in that movie. Yeah. Johnny fucking Depp was in that movie.
You know what I really like by him? Red State.
Red State, yes, with John Goodman. Great cast.
That was fantastic.
Yep. God, that was a great movie.
I remember catching the end of that with you, Matt. I enjoy it. I would never in a million years would have thought that was a Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah, right. That's the thing about it. It's that's the first one he did that was really a left turn, a total off the beaten path movie for him. Dogma and all those movies all follow the same formula. But yeah, so the new one is good, but you're not really invested in it. It's just all the same kind of jokes and cameos and things like that. It's it's this person, and then it's all lines, throwaway lines that connect to other movies of his, and it's fun and whatever. But anyway, so I watched Mallrats and Clerks 2. Love them both. Crazy that they got Rosario Dawson for that huge role in Clerks 2.
Is there a Clerks 3?
No, but he has it written. He has it
okay.
written. It's not made. But he's.
But is that going to be the
working
same thing, like the same fan service type movie?
Yeah, probably. And I guess that's fine for that movie. I see. I guess I was good. I started off the episode like me talking, complaining about it, but I guess I don't really mind it. Like the end of Clerks 2, they go back and they buy the Quick Stop again, or they buy the Quick Stop, and now Randall and Dante take it over. The problem they've been having is the character who plays Randall, forget his name, something Joe Anderson, something like that. I don't know. He didn't want to play the character anymore. Like he's totally out on it. Doesn't want anything to do with it at all.
What else is he doing?
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe he just doesn't want to. I mean, I don't really see this like stepping on his art at all because I don't think he's in anything else. But like I can understand a character like an actor wanting to get away from a role if they're trying to do more serious stuff. But I'm pretty sure, like you said, he's doing nothing. So.
Oh, Jeff Anderson.
Jeff Anderson. There you go. He's. I mean, everybody knows him as Randall. He's so good as Randall. He would. I mean, I couldn't picture him in anything else because I don't think that I didn't think he really got any other jobs, and I don't think he can. I don't think he has the range that other actors have.
Well, what is he even doing? He's not doing anything.
I don't know. So he didn't want to do it at the time, and Kevin Smith reiterated that at the night when we went to go see Jay and Silent Bob reboot. He didn't want to do anything. Is he doing stuff?
No. Maybe he just doesn't want to. His last role was Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Oh yeah, right. He was the cameraman
12 years ago. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe he just doesn't want to act anymore.
Maybe that's probably. I mean, but also I think the story was he told Kevin Smith he didn't want to play Randall anymore. Not that he didn't want to act, which is strange. I don't know. Anyway, so watch that. I watched this new show on Apple TV Plus. This was the show that really got me to subscribe to the service, and it just came out last week. It's called Central Park, and they're releasing it one episode at a time per week. It's Bob's Burgers. Have you guys watched Bob's Burgers?
Yes. Love Bob's Burgers.
It's a musical version of Bob's Burgers. Exactly what it is.
Animated?
It's the same animations. It has some of the same voice actors. H. John Benjamin's not in it, so Bob isn't in it. His wife is not in it, but Stanley Tucci is the villain. He's this old lady who owns a very rich old lady who lives in an apartment overlooking Central Park, and she's just hell bent on buying the park and turning it into condominiums. That's what the whole show is about. And then it's about this park ranger who lives in Central Park with his family. He's the guy who oversees Central Park, and that's Leslie Odom Jr. You might know him as Aaron Burr from Hamilton. Mm-hmm. Pretty fantastic. David Diggs is in it as well. He was Jefferson and Lafayette in Hamilton, and it's just a great cast, a great singing cast, and they're very good, and the music is fun, and it's just goofy. It's very, very cool. And then I wrapped up What We Do in the Shadows. I watched as much as they have on Hulu. It's so good. I hadn't finished the first season. I watched it and then I got away from it and I never went back to it. And then after you started, Ryan, watching it again, how good is that show?
I'm obsessed with it. It's so
that
weird.
was recommended to me last night, actually.
Oh my god!
Adam, it's so good.
It's so funny. It's just like so like it. I can't believe it exists. It's so niche, like the concept of it, but it works. The actors are perfect, and
they really are. They really are.
Am I going to be able to sell it to Jen? Is she gonna?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's very light. Yeah. I mean, it's not. It's just funny. Like, I don't know. I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
What I like about it is that it's obviously, like you said, it's very out there and it's very different from everything. It's so particular, and they have access now to this whole other like side of comedy that you wouldn't have in a normal comedy like real life show. Like you have this whole like vampires, and then you have the what is Colin Robinson? He's an energy vampire.
Yeah. So he
essentially
exists during the day, and he drains people's energy. That's like how he, instead of sucking people's blood, he just like he works in an office, and he like talks to them about their daily lives and drains their energy, and then he just like.
And you can see like when he's talking to them, you see the people like at their computers just like start getting like sleepy, and they just like kind of like pass out on their desks. It's so it's genius. It's genius. And so he feeds off of people getting bored or whatever, and also anger. And so he tries to like start fights, and it's so good. And so it's just like this goofy, and it like has this really like quirky like effects to it, like how the vampires fly and how they turn it and how they do a lot of the practical effects on set. And just like the set itself, it's mostly set inside their house, which is just, it looks like a house straight out of the Munsters or like Addams Family. It's like this great, like old looking house, exactly what you would think a house that the vampires would live in. So good. And the cast is great. Yes. So been watching that. Then the last thing I've been watching, Adam, I think this is a recommendation for you. Solar Opposites.
Yep.
By Justin Roiland. Have you seen it?
No. So this will bring me back around. So I was gonna watch it, but I'm a big South Park guy, as you guys might know. And it dawned on me the other day that I was 4 seasons behind on South Park.
Wild.
So I've been catching up. Now I'm only about like a season and a half behind, and I'm I will get to Solar Opposites once I get through South Park. But before
that's good.
South Park that show is so on the money with their humor and current events. There's no other show like it as far as being able to make fun of what's happening in the world in their own satirical way. I'm blown away in some episodes at how on the money they are. They do an amazing job of ripping on Donald Trump and the state of America, and even small things. Like an episode I just watched, it was those scooters in the city, or bikes in the city, they just came out of nowhere and they're everywhere and they can't go away. So they had that as a piece of one of their episodes recently, where Mr. Mackey, the school counselor, was pissed off. He's like, I got a car, what the hell do I need a scooter for? And so one night he goes around town, he steals all the scooters, right? And he drops them off a cliff. And then the next morning he wakes up and there's scooters in his house and they're all over the street. He can't get rid of the scooters. And every time he asks somebody where the scooters are, he's like, oh, they're just to drive around. They're pretty convenient, huh? And he can't get a straight answer. It's so funny. But sorry, I'll let you get back to Solar Opposites. But I'm glad I've been catching up on South Park. Hello?
That's good to hear that they're still doing it at a high level. That they're still doing South Park at a high level. And
something they're doing now is that they've been doing it for the past few seasons. Is every season is 10 episodes long, and all the episodes connect. They have running storylines now.
Yeah.
In their seasons, whereas before it was just episode, standalone episode. You know what I mean? But now they have recurring characters throughout a season, and one season Randy was Lord, the singer. Everybody finds out that Randy is Lord.
I love Randy Marsh.
In the new, I was telling Ryan the other day, so technically the season 22, Randy, he bought a weed farm in Colorado, and Ryan was like, I feel like that was a long time coming. I'm surprised it took that long. So that's what he does now.
That's funny. I think the last full season I watched of South Park was when PC Principal first jumped on the scene.
Which
is a great season.
That was the last one I watched, and now I'm catching up. There's a new character. It's Vice Principal Strong Woman. That's her name. She's a strong. Their dynamic together is so funny.
So Solar Opposites. After you're done with South Park, definitely get to it. It's funny. It's Rick and Morty, really. I mean, it's the same humor, it's the same animation. It's just like what I was saying about Central Park. It's just like Bob's Burgers. Maybe that's oversimplifying it, and that's painting with a broad brush or whatever. But it's good. It's still good. It's funny. I watched 3 episodes, and I realized that I didn't remember really anybody's names. It's just one of those. It's it's totally mindless humor. So. I thought it was pretty good. And then the last thing I watched, which is this is a bit of a downer to end on, Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich. It's just a documentary on Netflix about Jeffrey Epstein.
Seems like it's been a downer.
Yeah, it's not great. And I did the same thing I did with the Michael Jackson one. It's 4 episodes. I got to episode 3, and I was like, you know what? I've seen all I need to see. That's all I know how it ends. Yeah. I've seen what I need to see. I don't need to see this last episode. I just felt bored. Not bored by it, but I felt like I don't want to keep exposing myself to this this horror for no reason. I know what happens. So, yeah.
Ryan, what have you been watching? Not that we care or anything, but
yeah, I feel like no one cares. But
let's open the window and yell outside to the squirrels.
Yeah. Oh, listen to me. Well, we're on MasterChef season 4. No blind people at all.
That's disappointing.
It is very disappointing.
What about someone with like a hook for a hand?
No, everyone's just kind of normal, you know? Everyone's doing their own thing. We're like halfway through. Pretty interesting. I mean, not much has changed from the previous seasons, and there's really no standouts. There's no Frank, who's my favorite in season 3, who looked like Chris Moltisanti. There's no blind woman, so there is one woman who, at the time, so this must have been 2007 or 2008, and she's from New Jersey, but she doesn't have like a New Jersey accent. She has the most annoying, horrifying accent I've ever heard in my whole life. And she's just like an instigator. All she does is stir shit. She's not a bad cook, but she just like, they do the team competitions. So there's like 16 people left in the most recent episode we watched, and they'll each pick people. So her name's Chrissy. So Chrissy gets picked like 4th, which is like middle of the pack, like normal thing. And then they'll go to her as like a talking head. She's like, you know, I don't even give a fuck about her. Like, who even cares? I'm like, well, like, why are you starting shit, Chrissy? Just leave it alone. Like, it's okay. Like, you weren't picked last. No one like is hating you. That's the most drama so far. But they did go to Las Vegas on the most recent episode and cooked on top of like one of the buildings, like the Bellagio or something.
No.
And they had like a cook-off. It was like between these two people, and they had to do a butter poached lobster.
Whoa.
Like on top of the building, which is pretty cool. And they had like all the grills and stations set up. So
was it like middle of the day with the heat beating down on them in Vegas?
No, it was night. Which was
imagine that's what it was.
Cool.
It's like you couldn't use sunscreen. You had to cook out on the top of the building.
So like, make sure you boil the lobster. It's like, gotta be nice and hot. But so that one, it's going. It's not as interesting as season 3, but it's going. What We Do in the Shadows, I'm almost caught up with. They had an episode actually last night. The newest episode I haven't seen yet.
Same.
But love that show. And I've been watching Rami on Hulu, which I don't know if it's FX or Hulu that did it, but
it does feel like an FX show, right?
That's what I thought it was, but I think it's just Hulu.
I mean, they must do a lot of cross pollination where they have a lot of the same production crews that work on FX shows, like work on Rami. You like that? Cross pollination.
I did like that.
So it's Rami Youssef, who's a comedian, stand-up comedian, and it has a very like Dave, Louis vibe to it, and I just really like it because you're looking at a point of view of a person who otherwise, like, I feel like we wouldn't really see. And obviously it's commercialized and, you know, it's done for a TV show, but he's like a Middle Eastern guy just like making his way through the world in New York. And his parents are first generation immigrants, and you know, they have a comedic spin to it because I think they have to. If you don't look at it through that lens, then, you know, you kind of drive yourself crazy. But I really like it. I would definitely recommend it.
Is it a comedy or like a dramedy?
Yeah.
Or?
It's like comedy, like Dave's a comedy.
Okay.
Or like Master and None.
Yep. Yes. That's another one that I was thinking. Yeah, it's actually it's closer to Master and None than anything. Just because like how his story is.
Yeah, it's the unique cultural backgrounds. I think they like link those two.
Yeah, so I haven't seen Master of None. Is that good?
Oh God.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah. Very good.
Just the soundtrack is you're gonna find like 10 new songs from each season that are just like tremendous. It's incredible. The Z's does such a good job of curating. Like
it's only 2 seasons, right? It's short.
Yes. Yeah, it's quick.
I like season 2. Season 2 turned into like a love story because they do it in Italy. And I like that better personally, but like almost everyone else I've talked to like season 1 better. So
no, yes, I think I like season 2 better.
See, that's
like that. It flows much better as a whole.
It does
as a whole story.
Yeah, it was well done. I finished Outer Banks, which is
you said it's going off the rails.
Oh my God, But you know what? It was weird. So Holly and I were watching it, and we watched like it's 10 episodes. It was a Netflix show, so we watched like the first 4 or 5 episodes, and then we didn't watch it for like a month. And then this weekend we were like, you know what? We want to like any like loose end. We want to tie up like the loose ends. So if we wanted to start new shows, we could do it fresh. So we're like, let's just watch Outer Banks. So we finished the episode we had last watched, and then we couldn't stop watching it.
Yeah.
It was like, it's so bad, but like in the best way. So I have to assume, I've never seen Riverdale, but it sounds very similar to Riverdale, where it's just like these high school kids they live in the Outer Banks, so they live in this like seaside town, and there's like the Pogues and the Kooks. And the Kooks are the rich people.
What?
Excuse me?
I know.
I don't think we don't say those words on this podcast.
The
No,
Kooks.
I have the closed captioning on. That's what they're called. So the Kooks are the rich people in town.
Okay.
And then the Pogues are the not rich people, basically.
So they couldn't just like follow the outsiders and do like the Socias and the Greasers?
No.
They had to go with the Kooks?
They had to go with to make me say it, to make me sound like
Like you're making this is the blind chef all over again.
I know.
Maybe
it's me. I don't know.
It's quite literally unbelievable.
But and then of course, obviously, the rich girl falls in love with the main Pogue, like one of the main poor guys. John, and his name's John B. Just like the letter B. Yeah. And even when like the cops address him, like, "Come on, John B." It's like, well, why are you like
say his last name?
Sloop John B.
Say his last name or call him John. But he ends up like finding the treasure map, and then it almost turns into like this version
treasure
of
map.
Yeah, he finds the treasure. Well, so the whole point of it is there's this ship that sunk 400 years ago, and there was like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold on it.
Oh.
And that's what they're trying to find, but also going through the tough life of high school, Adam. It's very tough. But I will say we finished it in an afternoon, so there has to be something to be said for that. It wasn't. It was very entertaining.
I have a question? I haven't seen anything from the show, like anything.
Yeah, I know nothing about it.
Do the high school characters look like 40-year-olds, like
No.
grown adults?
No.
Or do they actually look like
I
high
looked up
schoolers?
most of their ages. They're all like 21 and younger.
Okay.
So they do that correctly.
Because there are some Netflix shows that I like catch Lindy watching, and they're supposed to be in high school, and they look like they're like 50.
They look older than what they're... Because at one point, they're like, John B., you're only 16. I'm like, 16? Come on. All right, come on. Like, he's not 16. But the actor's like 20. So it's not that bad.
Yeah, no, that's not bad.
They could have at least made him 18. Like,
that's doable.
16's a little...
So in Riverdale, all the actors are like... I think Cole Sprouse might be the oldest, and he's like 27 or something. So they're all like mid to late 20s. But I remember... The first time I ever like actually noticed that was from Mighty Ducks 3. Do you know Charlie Conway is supposed to be 13 years old in that movie? He's supposed to be a freshman in high school in that movie.
How old is he in real life?
I don't know, but like he's a grown man in that movie. And then the guys that are seniors are like
Is that the guy from Dawson's Creek?
Yeah, actually. I forget his name.
Joshua Jackson?
Yes, Joshua Jackson. He's in Little Fires Everywhere. Lindy's been watching.
He's 41 now.
Yeah.
Well, when did Mighty Ducks 3 come out? I'll look it up. You guys continue.
I don't know. Joshua Jackson's in Little Fires Everywhere. Lindy's been watching it, and I'm like,
Holly loves it.
I know that guy from somewhere. I know that. Like, he looks so familiar. And Lindy's like, from Dawson's Creek. I'm like, no, not that. And she's like, oh, he's from the Mighty Ducks. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, it's Charlie Conway.
How old is he now, Ryan?
He's 41. So Mighty Ducks 3 came out, what, 98, 99?
I mean, I guess he was only 17 when that came out.
Well,
it came out in 96.
13 to 17 is an enormous gap.
Well, I mean, he's fucking big. You know what I mean? He's a big freshman in high school.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm being a little over dramatic, but for me, that was the first time I actually was like, how old is he supposed to be? And then when I turned
on
13,
HGH.
I weighed like 80 pounds soaking wet.
Did I make this up, or are they doing a Mighty Ducks TV show for Disney Plus?
They are doing a Mighty Ducks TV show for Disney Plus with Emilio.
Is he in it?
With Emilio.
Oh, nice. So we don't know if Josh Jackson's in it?
I do not know.
He's gonna play. Sure. He's gonna play a freshman in high school again.
There
I'm
was
excited for that.
back when the Mighty Ducks, when they were still the Mighty Ducks, and they went to the Stanley Cup Finals, and Disney still owned them. I think it was in like 2003 or something. If they had won, they were gonna do a Mighty Ducks 4 with Joshua Jackson getting a DUI and having to do community service and end up being a coach. It's funny that whole franchise springboarded off of drinking and driving.
Yes. Yep.
It really did. So I have two more. I'll go through it quick. So
yeah, sorry.
No, that's right. The first one was a movie called High Rise with Tom Hiddleston.
Ooh.
And it's on Hulu. I don't know if it's on any other streaming service, but it's like it's based on a book. I don't know what the name of the book is, but it's like a dystopian movie, and everyone in like the town or the city lives in the same high-rise apartment building, and your floor that you live on is based on like your wealth. So the richest people live on the top floors, and the poorest people live on the bottom floors. And it's basically like how that system devolves into chaos. It was pretty interesting, but also very bizarre.
So it's Snowpiercer, but a building.
You know what's funny? I was talking to Amy, Holly's friend Amy.
Yeah.
And she said the same thing.
Yeah, it's a similar, like the train cars are the different.
But it's just funny how quick
and...
it devolves into chaos. So like in the movie, Tom Hiddleston's character moves into the high rise. He's a doctor, so he's at like one of the top floors, and he's at a party, and like the lights start to flicker, and then they cut to like a different scene, and it's like one of the poorer families, and they're like, the rich are draining the energy. We gotta revolt against them. They're taking our food. And then and then the rest of the movie is chaos. It's just nuts. I was like, I thought there was gonna be a little bit of.
You gotta respect them for getting right into it.
Oh, they got right into it. A lot of like weird sex and.
Ooh,
I didn't.
Is that the Snapchat
Jeff Daniels
you sent
in
the
it?
other day?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it. Jeff Daniels is not in it.
He's not having weird sex everywhere.
No, he's not having weird sex everywhere. I didn't enjoy it, but maybe if you're into that type of thing, you can watch it. And then the last thing I want to talk about is I watched a documentary also on Hulu on Roger Ailes, who was he's most notably known as the guy who was behind Fox News. So he didn't start Fox News like funding wise, but he was like the executive producer and director of Fox News from its inception to 2016. And huge piece of shit, like horrible person. He's basically responsible for all the terrible people we know today, like Bill O'Reilly, Mitch McConnell, Trump, like all those guys. Like, so he used to work on the Nixon campaign, and when Nixon was running for president, he was like the start of like when you'd run those like smut commercials against the opponent.
Yeah.
To like
smear campaigns.
Yeah, and they would basically just like instill fear in the voters. Like if you vote for this guy, then like immigrants and everyone are gonna go crazy across the country. And he did that for Nixon, and then he did it for Reagan. He did it for George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr. And then when he was in charge of Fox, like he says he started it to like get a conservative voice in news, but obviously we all know what Fox News is now, so it was much more than that. But it was kind of eye-opening because you had a lot of like ex-Fox News correspondents, and then the way he treated women was like a whole different thing. Like they interviewed a lot of the ex like Fox News anchors who were women, and like how he would call them in his office, and they would say something like, oh well, I would like to be featured more, or I would like to be like have my own assignment or something. And he's like, all right, well, you probably only have to give a couple blowjobs just to like myself and like my preferred friends.
Jesus Christ.
And if they didn't do it, then they would like be given a roll off air or just like released. It was disgusting, but that's like, and his power just like rose and rose and rose. It's an insane documentary.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, and so that's what I've been watching.
Excellent. I think that'll do
Jeez, both of you guys really ended on a high note.
That's shitty. That guy's.
I would definitely recommend it though, because you can see like how his, like how much power he got, like led to kind of everything that's happening.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into news, I think it would be disingenuous for us to not bring up what's going on in the world with the Black Lives Matter protests. Instead of us talking about it, I was just going to say there's ways to get educated about it and read and things like that. And just, I think education and learning and knowledge is power here. So I think we just go with that. Would you guys agree? Or you guys want to add anything?
No, I think there's a lot of stuff out there that, on TV that can be misleading. You've got to really drill down to the real problem. And until you do that, you won't get it because, Black Lives Matter. It's as simple as that.
I mean, that's the end of the story. Yeah.
They don't have this. They're not the same as us, and it's not fair and it's not right. They're not treated the same as us. Is the way I meant it.
Yep.
So
no. I know exactly what. That's no. That's I'm just gonna clip that part out and send it. No, you're absolutely right. That was well said. That was very well said. And so I think that's it. I mean, like I said, knowledge is power. Get out there and read as much as you can about what's going on and how you can help. For a lot of it, it's not enough to just be like with the cause. There's ways you can actively help, so you can do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, just educate yourselves. I mean, progress is the key, and like there's no right way to protest. Like the system that's oppressing people, is never going to agree with the way you protest.
Yep.
So if you couldn't kneel as Colin Kaepernick, that wasn't the right way to do it. You can't peacefully protest, that's not the right way to do it. Don't worry about that. Being out there, trying to, put your foot in the right direction, that's the real progress. And being united. I mean, the generation before us didn't do it. The generation before that didn't do it. We weren't united enough, and now's our time to step up and do it. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. Like, progress is power. Yep.
And there's a lot that needs to change.
Yeah.
And so hopefully this helps that along.
Hope so.
For sure. A little different note here, Ryan. There's news about the Tiger King.
There's some news about the Tiger King. Joe Exotic has lost his tiger farm. His tiger zoo.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, but yeah,
I am too. So this is what happened. And Adam, I don't. Do you know? I know you haven't watched it. Do you know? No. So if I were to say something about Carol Baskins and...
If you said it, I might get it. I mean, didn't she kill her husband or something?
So in the documentary, Joe Exotic, who I'm sure you've seen a picture of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
His theory is that Carol Baskins killed her ex-husband, who was a legitimately, like, very wealthy man. And in his will, he gave, like, all his money to her. So she used that money to create like a tiger sanctuary, and she was always going against people like Joe Exotic and people like him about, for animal cruelty and all that stuff. So Joe Exotic, while he's in prison, while he tested positive for the coronavirus, lost the lawsuit against Carol Baskin, owed her like millions of dollars, doesn't have the money, can't pay it. So Carol Baskins now legally owns Joe Exotic's tiger farm thing.
The bad guys always win.
They always do, and you know what, kids? Don't do meth.
Don't do meth.
Because you know what happens? You're going to turn into a tiger farmer. You're going to turn into a tiger farmer. You're going to get bit by your tiger. You're going to have a cane, a limp. You're going to sue Carol Baskins. She's going to win.
You're gonna catch the coronavirus and go to
catch
jail.
the coronavirus in prison. I mean, what a 2020 is bad for us. How bad is 2020 for Joe Exotic? Talk about highs and lows.
It's been very bad for Joe Exotic. Isn't there a story out there now that people think, or experts think, that the last will and testament of her husband was forged?
Yeah, well, because the will that they had, and one of the lawyers testified in the documentary, they said he's never seen a will that said in case of disappearance.
Yeah.
So in his will, it didn't say like in case of death, my money goes to so and so. It said in case of death or disappearance.
That's fucking crazy. You want to know why? Because it's fucking crazy.
That's kind of strange to put that little piece in there. And then because he was never officially called dead because they couldn't find his body, and that's when the theory came in that she fed his body to the tigers.
Right. Totally. It's fucking crazy to me.
So you can make him disappear. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what she's gonna like. What is she gonna do with this new tiger farm? She's gonna have to turn it into a sanctuary. It's gonna have to be shut down. And he has a shitload of tigers, so I don't know how they're gonna take care of all those fucking tigers. Absolutely,
I know, right?
Tigers. They're all stuck in these cages.
That's why I didn't like. I liked watching it, but I never saw him as like someone to root for.
Yeah,
He's
no,
just a
definitely.
fucking meth addict who.
No.
I guarantee he abuses the animals like when the cameras
he
are
definitely
around.
doesn't give a shit. We all know that he burned down that building that had all the alligators in it. Like, he clearly doesn't fucking care.
I mean, alligators survived the Ice Age. They shouldn't have to worry about Joe Exotic.
Yeah. Anyway. Adam.
Another happy story.
Yeah, another happy story. Well, listen, this one is a happy story.
So I saw this little nugget on my, I get my Google phone. I Google it. It give me like, articles that I might be interested in. Like, I get a lot of Zack Snyder Justice League stuff. I get wrestling stuff. I get Patriots stuff. I get updates about Ben Affleck going out for ice cream with his family. Like, I get all types of stories like that. But one came across the other day, and it was an interview with Ridley Scott and how he wants to make a third Alien prequel. So a cherry on top to Prometheus and Alien Covenant to fold that series back into his original Alien series. And he's not giving up, even though Disney owns that that princess for now. He's not giving up, which is a great sign. And this is what happened. Remember when there were like whispers flying around that he was making another one after Prometheus? It was like very light at first, and then all of a sudden it got steam, and boom, we get Alien Covenant. Alien Covenant, that movie fucking rules.
It rules. It absolutely
That movie
rules.
is
so good.
Non-stop from the start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's very little like relaxing time in that movie. It's so tense the whole way through. I really want to.
The Michael Fassbender Alien movies are they're so fucking good. They're so fucking good.
And
How old is Ridley Scott?
fucking like 80.
He's old.
He's old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now. You can keep going. Adam.
So, this third movie would be originally, Matt. It was going to bring back David Daniels in Tennessee for the third movie. I don't know how that will happen, considering the ending of Alien Covenant. Like, all three lived at the end of the movie, but not all of them were in the best predicament.
Shape.
Yeah, I mean, the movie's been out for a few years now, so basically, Ryan, you're led to believe that David, who is an android, Michael Fassbender, is going to do weird experiments on them while they're in hypersleep and kill them.
I really like Prometheus.
He's 82.
Yeah, so he's old. So, and this third movie would be to wrap those up together. I'm super excited about that. I hope it happens. I mean, I love those movies. I could watch those movies all day, every day.
The thing about it is, Prometheus did decent at the box office. Oh my god. Why can't I think say it?
Covenant.
Alien Covenant did better at the box office and did well. If Ridley Scott says he wants to make another Alien movie, you're gonna give him the fucking keys to the castle and make another fucking Alien.
Make the movie.
And I'm sure he already has the story. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that he already has the story.
Easy.
So you get Michael Fassbender, you get these other actors back to do it, and why would they were all. I remember one thing that I pulled from when I was at South by Southwest when they showed the first like big like teaser trailer for Covenant, and Catherine Waterston was there, and Danny McBride was there, Ridley Scott was there, and they talked about. We actually have the video on our YouTube page. He talked about these actors being so good and how great the new installment is, and then obviously Michael Fassbender's there too. They all go down the line and they all explain how much of a dream it was to work with Ridley Scott. And all I've seen in videos of them talking about that movie, is working with Ridley Scott. Like Danny McBride was floored. One of his idols is Ridley Scott, and was like so excited to be working with him. So why wouldn't they want to do another one with him? And I say do it. And also talking about like age of directors, fucking Clint Eastwood just turned 90.
I know.
I don't think he's slowing down. He's not slowing down anytime soon. He's gonna make 100 more movies.
He's just gonna like turn into dust in the sun one day.
yeah. You know what the crazy thing is? The rumors about Clint Eastwood is that he has you. I forget if it's what he does on set with, like, I think it's like he makes you like, it's like one and done.
It's one
he's
take,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, he's like, we do it, and then he's like, all right, we got it, move on.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Which as an actor you have to love.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean,
it's okay. I'll go with our little final bit of news. It's a rumor mill, but needless to say, we have a lot riding on Zack Snyder's Justice League. I keep seeing rumors of HBO Max wants this, AT&T wants that, depending on the success of the Snyder Cut. And the latest one I saw, I had a tent pitched in my pants so big you could fit a small family in there. That if it does well, HBO Max wants Ben Affleck, Joe Manganiello, and Jared Leto to make a Batman, Deathstroke, Joker series for HBO. I'm here for that.
So into that.
If I had my wallet, I'd throw it at the screen.
Fucking into that. Do you know what? Too? You know what's crazy? You know what's not too crazy about this whole thing is like that makes them doing a series and getting these actors to do a series for HBO totally makes sense. Like maybe Ben Affleck is not. Maybe he is. Let's still cross our fingers for him to be Batman on the big screen again. But if they do a show, Joe Manganiello has already said he's ready to put the suit back on for Deathstroke. Like he's already ready. Like he's ready to do that. So why the fuck not? Like that would be so cool. Imagine them doing like the caliber of Watchmen. They do a Batman, Joker, Deathstroke series. That'd
incredible.
Be fucking incredible. With those three, it'd be ridiculous.
With those actors, yeah. I mean, and
so
then there's, if it does well, then maybe Cyborg gets his own series and da-da-da. You know what I mean?
Right.
It could be a whole DC universe on HBO, which would be amazing. So I'm very excited for that.
That would be so awesome.
The Snyder Cut can't get here soon enough. I'm gonna. I haven't gotten it yet, but I will be getting HBO Max to support that effort. Like the Snyder Cut movement was so big, like game-changingly big. It's gonna get the viewers and some that they expected, because it's gonna get all the hardcore viewers. It's going to get the casual viewers, and then it's going to get everybody's going to be like, what the fuck is this fuss about? People are going to watch it. People are going to watch the shit out of that.
So what like emblem would that fall under? Would it be DC, Marvel? Like, what is Zack Snyder attributed to a certain thing?
It's or? DC. So
would HBO then like kind of take the whole DC library too? So for people who wanted to catch up, like myself?
Isn't Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Justice League, aren't they all on HBO Max?
They're already on there. So the majority of the DC movies are already on there. I don't know if Wonder Woman is.
Well, HBO Max, first of all, is not to interrupt you, is bullshit so far, because it's not on Roku and it's not on Fire Stick.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a dumb
two of the
move.
biggest. Like I have 2 Rokus and a Fire Stick, and I have HBO now. But I can't.
And it won't
watch
update the
HBO
Max?
No, it won't.
Yeah, see, that's a huge mistake for HBO. You gotta have like out of the gate, you gotta have your apps ready to go. Yeah. You gotta have, or else you're alienating your customers. Like if you have customers that just have Roku's or just have Fire Sticks, you're fucking them. You can't, and especially since they offer HBO Now on them, but they don't let you watch HBO Max. That's fucking crazy.
I can watch all my HBO stuff and their entire library and everything that they offer, and then I can't Because the whole point, I was so pumped. I'm like, oh, boom, you're for free.
So
you upgrade
you're
to
restricted.
HBO Max.
Like, even though it still says HBO Now, you don't get any of the HBO Max things?
I can't. Like, I search it as an app, and it's just not there.
But what I mean is, like, can you get all the same stuff on your HBO Now account that you would on HBO Max?
No, because HBO Max has like the entire Turner Movie Channel library, and
you don't have that on your Now. So
no,
yeah, so
I don't have
that's
it.
fucked
I just
up.
have like whatever
That's
HBO
fucked up.
Now has.
That's fucked up too, because you're paying for HBO Now, right? That's a subscription
yeah, I paid
service.
$10-$11 a month.
That's so fucked up.
I
Yeah.
was very upset.
Well, soon you will.
Better be.
Hopefully, yeah. All right, so talk about Movie Club.
Movie Club.
We watched Hearts Beat Loud.
Ryan, how many
What
times
was
did
it?
you listen to those songs?
Oh my god, was it a good suggestion just to start with? Did you guys?
Oh,
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah,
thought
I
it was
did enjoy
awesome.
it. I didn't expect it. I've never seen a trailer for it. Nick Offerman was great. Yeah, it was a good suggestion.
Didn't even know it existed, but I'm very glad I watched it. I've recommended it to other people. You know, that girl, Kiersey Clemens, she's a star. I don't know what else she's in. I know she was at one point attached to the Flash franchise with Ezra Miller. I don't know if she is anymore, but she's very talented. And Nick Offerman was great, and like the supporting characters, Toni Collette and Ted Danson, they played small roles, but they were good in their small roles.
How much of a fan is the director of this movie of Cheers? Because having Ted Danson be in your movie and having him be a bartender is the fucking best. It's so fucking good. Oh, that was awesome.
And it reminded me, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen this movie. It's called Begin Again.
No.
It's with Mark Ruffalo and who else is it? Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley. And it's very, very similar. It's not a father-daughter thing, so it's more of like Keira Knightley's a singer who's like struggling, and Mark Ruffalo like discovers her, and they end up like she ends up being a big star. But the soundtrack is very good, and like I was thinking of it as I was watching Hearts Beat Loud. Like besides crime thriller, like something like The Town, that type of movie, like musical comedy or musical dramedy or whatever, I don't think there's a genre of movie I enjoy more. Mm-hmm. Because if it's mainstream, like if it's been made and like you can watch it on a streaming service or in the theaters, you're pretty much guaranteed the soundtrack's going to be dynamite, which I thought this one was very, very good. And then you add in like these actors or actresses that you can't help but smile at. Like, how do you watch Nick Offerman act or Ted Danson act and not just like, you're just enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah.
And Toni Collette
and Kiersey Clemens just boom,
yeah,
sipped right in. I thought she was great too. But I'm glad you guys liked it because I thought it was. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
So essentially, just to summarize this for the people listening, without giving out, I mean, this is not really a movie for spoilers. It is what it is. But Nick Offerman and his daughter live in Red Hook, New Jersey.
Brooklyn.
Right? It's Red Hook,
yes.
New Jersey.
Yep.
Red Hook,
Brooklyn.
Right,
Yeah.
New York.
Red Hook Records.
Right, and Nick Offerman runs a store called Red Hook Records. He sells vinyls. His daughter's about to go. What is her name in the movie? I'm spacing on it.
Sam.
She's about to go. Sam. She's about to go. She's ready to go to UCLA, right? UCLA for
medical school. Yeah.
Pre-med.
Yeah. And so now this is like it's in the few weeks before she's about to leave. Her and her dad are in like a they jam and they do like band stuff. They make music, and
because he's a former singer.
Yes, and they make and he was in a band with her mom, they were husband and wife and they were in a band together, and now he's making the music with his daughter, and they have a song that takes off, and it's like the you don't know if she's gonna go to college or stay with her dad and make the music and go on tour or whatever. How were you guys? Were you disappointed in the choice that she made to go to college?
So I was bummed that she didn't stay and form the band with her dad.
Yeah.
But it was encouraging that that I think towards the end she asked him, right? She asked him, should I stay? And I think if he had told her to stay, she would have stayed. But he must have told her to go, but don't give up. on music, because like, and he said it's like,
Definitely.
I'm not a band, you're the band. Like anybody can do what I do. You know what I mean? Like there are millions of people that can play instruments like I can play instruments, but like she was talented. You know what I mean? So it was encouraging to see that they still work together, make songs together, but you know, she's a solo act now while she's out on the West Coast. And I sort of took it as, you know, maybe she went to school and decided maybe I'm not going to be pre-med, maybe I'm going to go to school for music now.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the way I took it.
I liked watching it like at almost 32, because like when you're in college, you almost feel like you can do anything all the time. So like when I was in college, I never thought about like being my age now. I'm like, well, I can, you know, I'm going to college for this, and then if I want to do something 10 years from now, I can do that. Or if I want to do something 5 years from now, I can do that. Like you're not too versed in the real world yet. But then once you're in the real world, once you like own a house and have bills to pay and have these things to do, that's when you're starting to impart knowledge on younger people. Like, follow you. Like, if this is what you really want to do,
it.
10 years from now, you're not going to necessarily be able to do it. So I could like kind of feel Nick. I'm not a father, but I could like feel Nick Offerman's advice saying, you don't get it. Like, even if you love pre-med, even if you become a doctor, who's going to say like 10 years from now that what if you look back and say like, oh man, like I really had this gift for singing, and my dad told me that like he had this outlet for me to do what I wanted to do. I don't blame her for doing it, because like, you know, stupidity is like the advantage of the young. Like when you're young, you have that advantage to do it because you have so many options and you don't necessarily know what's coming. So that I really like that, and I thought Nick Offerman played that role. He played that line really, really well. Of like giving advice but not being too forceful, especially as like a single dad, and a single dad with like a lot more on his plate, where he's like losing his business and obviously wanting his daughter to be happy and all that type of stuff. I wasn't disappointed that she made the choice, but it's also an easier choice to make when you're that age, when you don't necessarily know what the world has in store for you.
Yep. I found it interesting at the beginning of the movie. You're like, he's like, as a dad, telling his daughter, like, basically like trying to pry her on not to go to med school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's going to, like, she wants to go to, she's taking pre-med classes now. She wants to go to med school. Like, let her go. And then when you start to see like that she truly has a passion for making music, I was kind of like, well, this would be great. Like, she should do this. And like, this is great for her dad. It's great for her. And then they like kind of led me down this road where I thought she was going to stay. And I thought maybe she like would find a nice compromise with like maybe going to a school around there and them still making music. But then it ends up being that, you know, she's there and she's, you know, like you said, Adam, like I like to think of it that maybe she didn't do pre-med. Maybe she just went to school for music and now she's just going around and playing her music for people. So I thought that was very cool. It was just a very like easy to watch movie. I very much
like it was happy. Yeah.
It was very good. I thought Nick Offerman and Ted Danson have crazy good chemistry as like two friends.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought they were fucking. I believed that they were friends for however many years they've been friends for. It was very, very good.
Yeah, and I love that line when like he was drinking in the bar and he keeps asking Ted Danson for like another shot, and he's like, "This isn't like a business thing. This is a friendship."
Yeah.
He's like, I'm cutting you off. Like, I'm not trying to get you to buy another shot. He's like, you're done. That was kind of cool. And Ted Danson obviously plays that character better than Jesus. I don't know, probably anybody.
Yeah.
Matt, honestly, I don't know about you, but I kept waiting.
So I
kept waiting for Toni Collette to like jump up on the ceiling and start slamming her head against it.
Yeah, she honestly, that's the no, because I saw her in Knives Out. She was also in Knives Out too.
That
Hereditary. Yeah, Hereditary. I can't get her out of my mind in that movie. It's very
I will not watch that movie.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
that makes me want to not watch it more.
Yeah, it's bad. Don't. I mean, no, do. I know you don't like those movies, so don't.
It's not gonna happen.
It's so fucking good. Oh, it's incredible. Who's her husband in that movie? I don't want to get off base here, but he was from like he was D'Artagnan in Man in the Iron Mask.
He was Keaton in Usual Suspects.
Yes.
I forget his name.
I don't know. Whoever he is, he was fucking good in that movie too. He was very
also
good.
Kiersey Clemons. I don't know if there's any New Girl fans in the building, but
yes,
she plays the girl when Winston pretends to be a cop when he first starts being a cop. She's the girl he dates for a couple episodes.
Oh yes,
and he said like she's a reporter and she doesn't like cops, and he says he's a stripper.
Yes.
That's all I know her from. She's in, obviously, many other things, but...
I don't think I know her from anything else other than this. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything. I mean, well, that, obviously, but I don't remember her from that.
Oh,
well, she's been a ghost in a lot of stuff.
The husband, Hereditary, his name is Gabriel Byrne. His real name.
Gabriel Byrne. There you go. D'Artagnan. That's my favorite role of his. Okay, cool. So let's do the meter. Let's do thumbs. Brr. What do you guys think? And 3, 2, 1, thumbs.
I'm like 80.
I think we're
80%.
Yeah. I mean, it's not gonna blow you away, but it's I really enjoyed it.
Enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I love that Nick Offerman. Nick Offerman gives off the vibe that he doesn't want to act, but I think he just really I read his book and he just really enjoys acting, and I think he's very I don't know. I think he has more range than we think he has, especially in that show Devs, and now this, and obviously Parks and Rec comedy.
Even in Fargo, he was great in that season of Fargo.
He was in.
Oh, that's right. I
never saw season 3. I still haven't seen season 3.
He's very good.
All right.
That whole show is fantastic.
He's like a sub-character.
And I think 3 came around, and I started classes, and I just missed the boat. You know what I mean?
I like 3 better than 2.
Wow.
That's on hiatus, right? There's no impending season, right? Coming.
I don't think
so.
so.
No, there is with Chris Rock.
Oh,
that's
shit,
right.
Really?
That's right.
Chris Rock plays like a Chicago mobster or something.
Yes. Fuck yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. That's awesome.
This is gonna be like how Adam Sandler had his renaissance with Uncut Gems. Chris Rock with this and rebooting Saw. It's gonna be like a whole new Chris Rock.
Yeah, you're not kidding. You're not kidding.
I think he has the chops to be like a good actor.
Hey, Down to Earth. That's a good movie.
Down to Earth. You know what movie? This is way out of left field, but I'm gonna say it because I've been meaning to tell somebody about it, and Holly wouldn't understand. I saw on Hulu the other day. Do you remember the movie I Spy with Owen Wilson and Murphy?
I love that movie.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
The Invisible Jet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's a boxer. Bug.
Okay. I love that movie. So we'll have to maybe pick that somewhere down the line. But
that would be a good one.
I saw it and I went to say it to Holly, but I'm like, she wouldn't understand. So
yeah,
thank you.
That's funny. I haven't thought about that movie in years. Literally years.
But it's so good.
It is.
It's good. It is good.
2002. By the way,
crazy.
To make you feel old.
2002 is that whole era of movies is a wild time for movies.
Yeah.
A lot of hidden gems there. So we watched Hearts Beat Loud for this week's movie club. Next week, I brought up, and I already told you guys, we're going to be watching The French Connection. It's on Hulu. You can also rent it from other places if you want. The French Connection stars Gene Hackman. He won the Oscar for this movie, and the movie won Best Picture that year, and a fear other Oscars as well. I think it won 4 total, maybe 4.
Did it
I've always wanted to watch it.
Return of the King? I don't think so.
No, you're right. It did not. It did not win 11, which is fucking absurd. That blows my mind that it won 11, including Best Picture and Director. It fucking blows my mind. But so the French Connection has this legendary reputation, and so I wanted to see it. It's something I wanted to watch for a while. Huge Gene Hackman fan at the time, and I think up until 15 or 20 years later, this movie had one of the most expensive car chase scenes in all of cinema. And it held for a long time, and it's regarded as one of the best car chase scenes in all of movies. So that's going to be cool. And then we talked a little bit before the show, and I think we should announce it now. Everybody get prepared for this, because I don't know if these movies are hard to watch places, or we could we do some research on where people can watch them. But we're going to be watching the Mummy movies.
All of them.
All of them. So we're going to watch Mummy. We're going to watch Mummy Returns. We're going to watch Scorpion King. We're going to watch Tomb of the Jagged Emperor, which is the other one with Brendan Fraser. And as Adam brought up, we're going to be watching the Tom Cruise one, which I totally forgot about.
I've never seen it.
I did too.
I haven't seen
French Connection
3.
this week, and then we'll start watching those movies.
I haven't seen 3 in the Tom Cruise one. I've seen Scorpion King, Mummy Returns. Mummy Returns, that movie rules. That movie's awesome. So I'm excited. That I don't know whose idea that was, but it was a good one. I hope it wasn't Ryan's.
What?
I said I hope it wasn't Ryan's, because it was a good idea.
Oh no, I think we all kind of dreamt this up. But yeah, so I haven't seen Dragon Emperor. And I haven't seen the Tom Cruise one either, so those two will be new for me. But I'm very excited to revisit Brendan Fraser as a leading man, which he was for a long time in Hollywood, and for some reason he's been blackballed. And there's a story behind that I think we'll get to when we watch these movies.
Maybe we should watch Bedazzled too while we're at it.
Oh my God! Do you want to know a funny story about Bedazzled?
Yes.
I was Keith Santos's, I don't know, maybe it was his 12th or 11th birthday, whatever birthday it was when Meet the Parents came out. We went to Keith Santos's move was going to the theater for his birthday to see movies for his birthday. So we went to Apple Valley Cinema. We were in the theater, and part of the birthday thing before they would do like trivia or something, and then they'd give out a prize. And so we were seeing Meet the Parents, and then they did the trivia, and one of the guys we used to go to, Zach Katoya, I don't know why I remember this. He won a Bedazzled poster, and he unrolled it, and no one knew what Bedazzled was at that time because it was still just like a trailer and it hadn't come out yet. And everybody was fucking like going bananas over this fucking girl with huge tits on the poster.
Drooling over Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah,
Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah, Elizabeth Hurley. Right.
She, you know what? Like, she is on Instagram. She is just as gorgeous as she was in the 90s.
Yeah, she's still got it.
Yeah. Truly,
Oh my God,
absolutely.
beautiful.
So we'll add Bedazzled. We'll do Bedazzled after that. So we'll do all Brendan Fraser movies.
I don't know how much
Jungle,
analysis we can do in
Airheads.
Bedazzled.
George, Airheads. Oh my God, Airheads is so good.
Crash.
Okay, so that's it for this week's podcast. You guys have anything you want to add before we sign off?
I think I'm good. That's a hell of a podcast.
I don't think so.
I think Ryan's
Hell of a podcast.
I think Ryan's frozen.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Ryan, don't go. Stay away from the light. We'll talk to you guys next week.